Welcome to Langford Architecture Center. Here, future designers are taught how to shape and define the built environment. You've probably never thought about what goes into designing a building, but as we learn here, it's about more than four walls and a roof. Architecture expresses ideas. Some architects are so extreme in their expressions that they push the bounds of technology and even reason. Santiago Calatrava, for example, went 6 years and $2 billion over budget. What if we refocused our motivations of design? What if design were less about grand gestures and more about serving needs? In order to find out, we first have to identify someone with a need. Someone like Jill. Jill is an 83-year-old grandmother of 4, retired from running the accounts of a local construction business. Jill is a widow and spends most of her days in the garden. Her grandkids call her Gigi, and know that every time they visit for the weekend, she makes the best cookies they've ever tasted. What they don't know is why their Gigi takes the bus every Saturday after the cartoons come on and doesn't come back until it's almost time for dinner. They also don't see her do the same thing every Tuesday and Thursday. What Jill's grandkids don't see is that their Gigi's kidneys don't work very well, that like 400,000 other people in the United States, Jill requires dialysis to survive. This is where Jill's bus takes her 3 times a week. This is the dialysis center, the only one in town Jill's health insurance will cover. She spends 4 hours a day, 3 days a week here hooked up to a machine, not counting the waiting, changing, and travel time, so that impurities in her blood don't become toxic. That's 624 hours a year sitting in this chair, staring at a TV screen, surrounded by other people all doing the same thing. If she's unlucky, Jill gets the seat under the air vent, which always makes her cold, and all the staff can do is provide a thin blanket. The open plan provides no privacy, and the alarms on the dialysis machines around the room hurt her ears. Jill is suffering from 2 things right now. The first is the renal disease in her kidneys. The second is the terrible design of her environment. The first is the reason she's here. The second is the reason she dreads coming. To address this design problem, a group of sophomores at Texas A&M are designing a new type of dialysis clinic, one focused on patient experience. For them, the end goal is about creating a space which makes an unfortunate situation as pleasant as possible for dialysis patients.
The dialysis centers that they have now, everything is just very cut and dry. Like, it's almost like everything's glaring at you. It's all white and clean and like shining,
very clinical, not very welcoming.
Yeah, it's not welcoming. It's almost like it would make the uncomfortable process of dialysis even more uncomfortable. You just can't feel comfortable there.
And I think once we saw what the people had to go through, it became like probably the main driving force behind what our design was figuring out the best way to make them more comfortable.
The point of architecture is to allow people to enjoy the architecture, to enjoy the spaces that they're in. And so in having the mindset of designing for the people who experience the building all the time, it completely changes how the architecture looks.
Unfortunately, neither Jill nor any of the other 400,000 people in America who use dialysis will experience these students' designs. Their project is hypothetical, meant as a learning experience. But the lessons they are learning will carry with them into their professional lives, the value of designing for those in need, like these patients, and the value of improving unpleasant circumstances. Even should they not become professional architects, we all design every day. In our schedules, our interactions, our conversations, we plan and shape the world of other people around us. Like these students, we have the opportunity to be intentional about designing. The question is, who are you designing for?